You know what's weird? You press a button on your remote, Netflix loads in like 2 seconds. You're watching Stranger Things before you even finish chewing your popcorn. And here's the thing, nobody really thinks about your TV. Just reached out across the planet, found the exact episode you wanted out of billions of data packets, negotiated with a dozen different systems, and delivered it to your screen, all in less time than it takes you to blink twice. Think about that for a second. Your smart TV doesn't have Netflix living inside it. That show isn't stored somewhere in your living room. Every single time you watch anything, your TV is having this incredibly complex conversation with computers thousands of miles away, and you have no idea it's even happening. In the next 15 minutes, you're gonna understand exactly how your TV connects to the internet and why this invisible journey changes everything about how technology actually works in your home. Because once you see what's really happening behind that loading screen, you'll never take streaming for granted again. Here's what's really happening when you turn on your Samsung or LG smart TV and open Netflix. You think you're just launching an app, but your TV is actually performing this elaborate dance with your home network, your internet provider, Netflix's servers, and about half a dozen systems in between that you've never heard of. Picture this scenario. It's Friday night, you just got home from work, you grab some leftovers from the fridge, you sit down on your couch, you turn on your TV, you click the Netflix app, 2 seconds later, you're scrolling through recommendations. Feels instant, right? Feels like the content is just sitting there waiting for you. But here's what people don't realize. In those 2 seconds, your TV just completed a journey that would have seemed like actual magic to someone from even 20 years ago. It talked to your Wi-Fi router. It authenticated your identity, it pinged servers in multiple cities, it negotiated video quality based on your internet speed, it started buffering content before you even picked what to watch. All of this happening invisibly while you're deciding between rewatching The Office or trying something new. Everyone tells you that smart TVs connect to Wi-Fi, and that's it. That's the explanation. Connect to Wi-Fi, boom, internet. But that's not what actually happens. What really happens is your TV is constantly maintaining dozens of active connections, running background processes, updating information, and preparing for what you might want to do next, even when you think it's just sitting there idle. And this matters because everything you think you know about how your TV works is actually way more interesting than you realize. It's not just about getting online. It's about your TV being part of this massive global network that's working every single second to make your experience feel effortless. Your TV isn't a screen anymore, it's a computer that happens to have a really good display. And it's having conversations you never see. There's this pattern I've noticed that I call the invisible handshake. This is when devices negotiate with each other automatically without you ever knowing it's happening. And it's absolutely everywhere in your smart TV. The moment you turn on your TV, before you even see the home screen, something fascinating happens. Your TV immediately starts looking for networks. It's scanning for Wi-Fi signals. It finds your home network. Let's say it's called Smith Family Wi-Fi, or whatever you named it back when your internet provider set it up. But here's the thing. Your TV doesn't just connect. It performs this whole security ritual that happens in milliseconds. It's like when you meet someone at a party and you do this quick social calibration. You shake hands, you make eye contact, you gauge whether this person is friendly or sketchy. Your TV does the same thing with your Wi-Fi router, except it's using encryption keys and passwords instead of body language. This matters because your TV is essentially asking your router, hey, remember me? I'm the Samsung TV that lives here. Here's my unique ID number. Here's the password. Can I join the network? And your router checks its list of approved devices and says, yeah, you're good. Here's your access ticket. That ticket is called an IP address, basically a temporary phone number that lets other devices know how to find your TV on the network. Think about Jake. Jake bought a new Roku TV from Best Buy last Black Friday. He brings it home, he goes through the setup process, he types in his Wi-Fi password using that annoying on-screen keyboard where you have to arrow key through every single letter. Took him like 5 minutes just to type P at SSW0RD2019. But here's what Jake doesn't realize is happening. While he's typing, the TV isn't just memorizing his password. It's generating encryption keys. It's creating a secure channel between itself and his router. It's setting up protocols for how fast to send data, what language to speak, and how to recover if the connection drops. Jake thinks he's just typing in a password, but his TV is actually negotiating a complex relationship with his home network that'll last as long as he owns the TV. Your brain actually does something similar when you meet someone new. You're not consciously thinking through all the social protocols, how close to stand, how firm to shake hands, whether to make small talk. But your brain is running all these programs in the background. Same thing with your TV and your router. The handshake happens automatically because both devices know the protocol. But here's where it gets interesting. There's another pattern that's even sneakier. I call it the translation chain. This is when your TV request has to pass through multiple translators before it reaches its destination. So your TV is connected to your Wi-Fi now. Great. But Wi-Fi doesn't reach Netflix. Your Wi-Fi only covers your house maybe 50 feet in each direction, if you're lucky. So how does your TV talk to Netflix servers in California or Virginia or wherever they actually are? Through this chain of translators. Your Wi-Fi signal goes to your router. Your router translates it into a signal that travels through cables, either the coaxial cable from your cable company or the fiber optic line from your internet provider. That signal goes to your internet service provider's equipment, usually in a facility somewhere in your city. Then it gets translated again into signals that travel across much bigger networks that connect cities and states and countries. It's like if you wanted to talk to someone in Tokyo, but you only speak English. You'd need someone who speaks English and Japanese. But if that person is in Paris, you might also need someone who speaks French and Japanese. Your message passes through these translators until it reaches the right person. Your Netflix request does the same thing, except instead of human translators, it's routers and switches and servers. This matters because every single one of those translation points is a potential failure point. When your Netflix buffers or your TV says unable to connect to network, it's usually not your TV's fault. It's some link in this translation chain that broke down. Maybe your router crashed. Maybe your internet provider is having issues. Maybe there's construction down the street and someone cut a fiber line. Your TV is fine. The chain broke somewhere. Here's what makes this even more surprising. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria's streaming The Mandalorian on her Vizio TV. The show is playing perfectly, crystal clear, no buffering. She assumes the video is coming directly from Disney's servers to her TV in one straight shot. Makes sense, right? That's how it feels. But what's actually happening is way more complex. Maria's request went from her TV to her router to her internet provider to something called a content delivery network. Let's call it a CDN because that's what everyone in tech calls them. This CDN is basically a warehouse full of copied content that sits geographically closer to Maria than Disney's actual servers do. Disney doesn't want to send The Mandalorian from California to every single person watching it in Texas. That would be slow and expensive. So they copy it to servers all over the country, in Dallas, in Houston, in San Antonio. When Maria requests the show, the system automatically finds the closest copy and sends it from there. She's probably getting it from a server that's like 50 miles away, not 2,000 miles away. Wild, right? The internet isn't this direct point-to-point connection. It's this massive network of copies and caches and shortcuts that makes everything feel instant, even though the actual source might be across the country. This connects to something even deeper. There's another layer to this that most people never think about. I call it the speed negotiation. This is when your TV and the network constantly adjust quality based on what's actually possible right now. When you click play on a YouTube video on your smart TV, here's what YouTube's system does immediately. It tests your connection speed. It sends a few small packets of data to your TV and measures how fast they arrive. Based on that measurement, YouTube decides what quality video to send you. Can your connection handle 4K? Great, here's 4K. Only fast enough for 1080p? That's what you get. Struggling today because everyone in your neighborhood is online? Here's 720p. And this negotiation never stops. If your internet speed suddenly drops because your roommate started uploading photos to Google Photos, YouTube notices within seconds. It automatically switches to lower quality so you don't get buffering. You might notice the picture gets a little less sharp, but most people don't even notice because it happens so smoothly. It's like when you're driving on the highway and traffic suddenly gets heavy. You don't keep going 70 miles per hour and crash into everyone. You automatically slow down. Your TV does the same thing with video quality. It's constantly adjusting to traffic conditions on the network. Your smart TV is also doing something else sneaky. It's preloading content based on what it thinks you'll do next. You're watching a show on Netflix. You finish episode 4, Netflix already started downloading episode 5 before you even clicked next episode. Your TV noticed you've been binge watching. It made a prediction. It prepared for what's probably coming next. Same thing happens when you're browsing the Netflix homepage. Your TV isn't just showing you still images of movie posters. Those little preview videos that autoplay when you hover over a title, your TV started downloading those in the background before you even got to that row. It's predicting where you might scroll and preparing content ahead of time. But here's what nobody wants to admit. This whole system only works because your TV is constantly talking to dozens of different companies and services without telling you. Every time you use your smart TV, you're not just connecting to Netflix or YouTube. You're connecting to advertising networks, analytics companies, firmware update servers, app stores, social media integrations, and tracking systems you've never heard of. What's actually happening is your TV has become this intersection point for data flowing in every direction. Netflix wants to know what you're watching so they can recommend better content. Samsung or LG wants to know how you're using your TV so they can improve their software. Advertisers want to know what shows you watch so they can target ads. Your internet provider wants to manage bandwidth fairly across all their customers. This isn't about conspiracy theories or being paranoid. It's about understanding that when you connect your TV to the web, you're actually plugging into this massive ecosystem where your viewing habits become data that flows to multiple parties. That's the trade-off for getting instant access to unlimited content. Your TV has to report back to make the whole system work. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. Your smart TV isn't a passive screen. It's an active participant in a global network of data exchange. Every button you press, every show you watch, every menu you navigate, all of it generates signals that travel through this network. Let me tell you about 2 different people and how they think about their smart TVs. First, there's Tom. Tom bought a new Samsung Smart TV last year, top of the line. QLED, looks amazing. Tom treats it like it's a regular TV that just happens to have apps. He never updates the software. He clicks "Remind me later" every time the TV asks to install updates. He gets frustrated when apps start running slowly after a few months. He doesn't understand why his TV isn't as fast as it used to be. Here's what Tom doesn't realize. His TV is basically a computer. And just like the laptop he uses for work, it needs maintenance. Those software updates he keeps skipping, they're not just fixing bugs. They're updating security protocols, improving connection efficiency, and adding optimizations that keep everything running smooth. By skipping updates, Tom's TV is trying to speak a language that the rest of the internet has moved beyond. It's like if everyone else upgraded to 5G phones, but Tom is still using a flip phone from 2005. Sure, it technically still makes calls, but it's not optimized for how networks work now. Tom's TV is doing the same thing, trying to connect with modern protocols using outdated software. That's why Netflix takes longer to load. That's why sometimes apps crash. The TV is working harder to compensate for being out of date. Now, compare that to Rachel. Rachel has a similar TV. Same brand, same year. But Rachel treats her TV like what it actually is, a computer that displays video. When the TV prompts for updates, she installs them. Usually takes like 5 minutes. She restarts her TV once a month by unplugging it for 30 seconds, clears out the temporary memory. She occasionally goes into settings and clears the app cache. Takes maybe 2 minutes total. Rachel's TV still runs like it's brand new. Apps load instantly, connections are stable, no weird glitches. And here's what happened differently. Rachel understood that maintaining a connection to the web isn't automatic. It requires small amounts of upkeep to keep everything synchronized with how the internet is evolving. Notice how Tom expected his TV to just work forever without any thought? While Rachel understood that being connected to a living, changing network means you have to evolve with it, that's the fundamental difference. Tom treats his TV like an appliance. Rachel treats it like a participant in a system. Here's what most people don't realize when they're setting up their smart TV for the first time. It's not actually about getting online. It's about integrating into a network that never stops moving. The internet isn't static, new protocols get developed, security standards change, streaming quality improves. Content delivery methods evolve. Your TV needs to stay synchronized with all of that, or it starts feeling broken. The people who have the best experience with their smart TVs don't have faster internet or better equipment. They understand that connection is a relationship, not a one-time setup. Just like how you can't just make a friend once and then never talk to them again and expect the friendship to stay strong, you can't just connect your TV once and expect that connection to maintain itself perfectly forever without any upkeep. And once you see it this way, everything changes about how you think about connected devices. Your TV isn't accessing the internet. It's participating in a massive, constantly evolving network where every device has to keep up with changes or get left behind. So here's what we've uncovered. Your smart TV connecting to the web isn't one simple action. It's this elaborate system of handshakes, translations, speed negotiations, and constant adaptations. Your TV talks to your router, which talks to your internet provider, which talks to content delivery networks, which talk to the actual services you're using. And every single step of that chain is negotiating and adjusting and preparing for what might happen next. Plus, that connection isn't passive. Your TV is constantly sending data back about what you're doing, how you're using it, and what you might want next. That's not invasion of privacy, that's how the system makes everything feel instant and personalized. The trade-off for unlimited content at your fingertips is that your viewing becomes data that helps the system work better. And remember how we talked about updates and maintenance? That matters because the internet is a living thing. It changes daily. New standards emerge, new threats develop, new optimizations become possible. Your TV has to evolve with it or the connection degrades over time. Not because your TV breaks, but because it falls out of sync with how everything else is communicating. The question isn't whether your TV can connect to the internet. Obviously it can. The question is whether you'll recognize that connection as the complex, constantly maintained relationship it actually is. Because now you know it's not just about entering a Wi-Fi password, it's about your TV joining this massive global network and having thousands of invisible conversations every time you press play. You can't unknow this now. Every time your show loads instantly, you'll realize dozens of systems just coordinated perfectly. Every time you see that loading circle, you'll understand which link in the chain is struggling. Every time an app crashes, you'll know it's not the app, it's somewhere in that translation chain between your couch and the server farm hundreds of miles away. So next time you turn on your TV and Netflix appears in 2 seconds flat, ask yourself, how many invisible handshakes just happen to make this feel this effortless? Because the answer is dozens, maybe hundreds. All of them working together to create the illusion that streaming is simple. But now, you know better. You know what's really happening behind that screen. And that makes every show you watch just a little bit more impressive.